starting small is okay, right? Don't be bashful, don't be shy, don't let that, paralyze you to say, "Hey, I only have money to buy a duplex, I only have money to buy 3 units." That's okay. That's
Mhm.
how so many you see the great names out there, and I don't wanna, share their backstory or embarrass them or anything, right? But, so many of the greats out there that we see, they started with a condo, right?
Yeah. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I'm excited to be here today. Excited about my guest. I think I've told you this before, and it never fails. They got a way of firing me up right before we press record, and so since today is no different. But I have someone here. I love his approach. Yes, he's an operator. Yes, he's the GP in his own deals, but he also does coaching. You want to educate people on the real estate space, how to be better, how to thrive, how to be successful. And so I'm excited about his spirit, excited about his energy, excited about what he brings to the real estate space. And so please, I just love to introduce you guys to Mr. Tony Lopes. Mr. Tony, how you doing today, sir?
Quentin, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, we got started before you hit the record button, and man, we're going to have fun on
Yeah,
this podcast. This is going to be great. Looking forward to it.
absolutely. Listen, that's the pact we made with each other, y'all, that we're going to have fun. So we're going to have some fun today. So Mr. Tony, listen, I'll be honest, I kind of want to dive in. I
Yep.
want you to take us into your world. I want you to tell us what your main focus is these days. I want you to tell us maybe a little origin story of kind of how you got into real estate, how you got to where you are. And then also tell us where you are in the world, if you don't mind. Tell us what market you're operating in. So, Mr. Tony, sir, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, that's a lot. I hope I cover it all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So actually, my backstory is actually probably pretty timely for where we are today. I actually started in real estate because I got laid off from my corporate job.
Wow.
I went to
Mm.
school. I had gotten my bachelor's degree. I got my master's degree, and I thought I was set, right? Like a lot of folks, right? You have your
Yes, sir.
degrees, you're set, you're good to go. And then I got laid off, and I'm like, whoa, this was quite the blow. And so I wasn't financially independent at that time. I needed to go find another job, as we say.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, yeah.
so, but already right there when that happened, that was a huge inflection point in my life because I'm like, whoa, I don't want to live like this where, my independence, my freedom is tied to really somebody else's decision. I wanted to
Mm.
make that call. So basically, that's when I started thinking about getting involved in real estate. I had a little exposure to it growing up. My parents were immigrants to this country. They had bought some real estate, some rentals. So I had a little bit of exposure. So I knew a little bit about what I was getting in, but I never ran the business for them or anything like that. So I really had to learn it on my own.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of how I got my foot into real estate was through necessity, really,
Mm-hmm.
not wanting
Mm-hmm.
to be hitched to somebody else's cart. So I really started buying small multifamilies. And I talk about this all the time, Quentin, because I want folks to understand you don't have to start like big, like buying an apartment complex and being a sponsor or syndicator. No, you can go off. Like my first building was like a real crappy, quad. It
Yeah,
was
right.
at best, class C, right? My father came
Yeah.
by, he looked at it, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing? Have I taught you nothing?" Uh, but I still bought it, and actually, I still own it
Mhm.
today.
Yes.
It cash flows beautifully,
Yeah.
it's hard to let go of that cash flow, as you know, Quinn.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
um,
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
starting small is okay, right? Don't be bashful, don't be shy, don't let that paralyze you to say, hey, I only have money to buy a duplex, I only have money to buy 3 units. That's okay. That's
Mhm.
how so many you see the great names out there, and I don't want to share their backstory or embarrass them or anything, right? But so many of the greats out there that we see, they started with a condo, right?
Yep. Yep.
So I say that to encourage folks. So that's how I started. I still, as an operator, I still operate, really my own portfolio of properties. But then
Yep.
I was still working at the time, and that's another important piece, right? Just don't sever the cord. Like, still have your job. If you need your job for that cash flow, for that income, that's okay. But if you have a roadmap, eventually, to build up your portfolio, great, but don't exit right away when you just have a duplex. That's way too risky. I
Yep.
actually pulled the ripcord and quit my job when I was 44. I had
Mhm.
enough real estate to be able to do that. So I basically retired at the age of 44. And I had people coming out of the woodwork at that point saying, wow, Tony, I always knew you did something with real estate, but I didn't really know to what extent and like that you could actually retire from it at 44. That's just crazy. And so that's when I also started offering some coaching services just to
Yeah.
kind of help people, because so many of the stories would come out. I always wanted to buy, a triplex or a 6 unit building. I always wanted. God, if I had a nickel for every time I heard those stories, I'd have a
Yep.
nice pocket of change. So that's when the coaching really started to help folks do that. And I was, really humbled by folks really
Mm.
entrusting in me that,
Yeah.
hey, this is somebody that I worked with for years, but now he has something to share different that I want to learn. And it was really a humbling experience. And I was just so grateful for those, those first clients really to trust me to walk them through the process. So that's a little bit about that. But then, after I retired, I was 44. I looked to my right, looked to my left. I mean, all my friends were still working their day jobs, right? Like, I wanted to
Mm.
go to the beach. I wanted to go hiking. I wanted to go climb mountains.
Mhm.
I wanted to go mountain biking, right? And all my
Yeah.
friends were still working. And it's like, wow, this
Mhm.
sucks, right? Like,
Yeah.
you guys got to retire too. So I set forth down the path of, just really building my team and getting to understand myself better. And
Yeah.
this is something we spoke like before you hit the record button. Like, I realized, pretty early on that, who I was. Like, I wanted
Mhm.
financial independence, I wanted freedom. But part of that was I also liked being the hands on guy. And so I
Yeah.
did a lot of my own property management, property maintenance on my buildings, right? And, sometimes, people shy away from that, some advisors tell them, "Oh, get somebody else to do it." And maybe that's the right decision for some folks. For me, it wasn't because that really created what I call today my superpower, being
Yeah.
like really informed as far as property management, property maintenance, things like that.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And so
Okay.
when I went into the working with others to buy large apartment complexes, right? You just don't walk in the door and be like, "Hey, I want to be a GP," or "I want to, sponsor, this the purchase of this," right? It's like, you got to come with some credibility, something of value to the team. And so that was really my value that I brought to the team. And I'll give you an example. We work with different partners, and one of our partners just sent out an email yesterday to me and my other partner of a property that they have, uh, and so part of my job in all of this is not, I trust him in terms of the demographics and doing the waterfall charts and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to review it, obviously, right? Because I
Yep.
want
Yeah. Yeah.
my superpower that he doesn't have is being a property manager, right? Walk in,
Mhm.
right? My company is called Dirty Boots Capital, and I call it Dirty Boots Capital because I get my boots dirty, walking the ground each and every day, looking at property, like climbing the ladder, walking on the roof, looking at the HVAC units, right? I love that sort of stuff. That really just gets
Yeah.
me jazzed. And so it's not really a chore for me. Yet some of my other partners that I work with, they're like, "Tony, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to stay in the air conditioned office and I'm going to work on these waterfall charts." And that's okay. They can do that. And I bring that up because over the years of me being in real estate, I've realized that's my superpower is really property management and property
Wow.
maintenance, things like that. Uh, so that's my value that I bring to the table today with my partners. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So where we operate, everywhere from the big areas, New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire, Florida, as well as Arizona.
Gotcha. Well, listen, man, you hit everything. You said that was a lot, but you covered a lot of ground. You answered succinctly. That was beautiful, sir. That was beautiful, man.
Well,
I love it.
I hope, Quinn, I hope it resonates with like some of the
Yeah.
folks that are watching and listening because you just don't come out of the womb knowing some of this stuff, and to have the humility to say I don't
Mm.
know. Like I go to my partners and I look at the waterfall chart and I was like, "How did you get here? You got like a 2x return," and I'm just not like walk me through it, and
Yeah.
it's just great to have others, and that's where coaching is super important for folks because if you haven't done it or you've only done it 2 or 3 times, there's things
Yeah.
there that you might be missing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not for nothing, I learned from my students just as much as they learned from me, right?
Wow.
So it's a super fun experience we go through. It doesn't break the bank, and I don't take on everybody that calls me, to be honest. I
Yeah.
only take a select few. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure I have time for everybody to do a really credible job for them.
Yeah. No, I love everything you're saying. I love, I think I mentioned this before we got started. When you know who you are, you know what to do, right? And I love the fact that you found your superpower and you rest in that superpower. And I love that. And to me, that's an incredible what I call strategy is self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing where you fit, knowing what your superpower is. And so for me, because I always like to ask people, what is a personal strategy that they use in their life that translates very well to business. And it seems to me that that's a strong strategy that you had is that you know exactly who you are and you know exactly the value that you bring.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, and to be able to take some quiet moments, and this is something we cover, so to speak, in the coaching and a different conversation is, there's so much distraction out there today, social media and phone calls and emails, and we just need to really shut that stuff down. I get it. I'm a busy guy, just like you, Quentin, just like all the listeners, right? We're all busy, but you really have to find time to shut that down, whether it's once a day or once a week, whatever works for you. But you really have to have these conversations to yourself with yourself and say, hey, what is my superpower? What is my, my value to the organization? Even if you have a job, right? That's
Yeah.
okay. Like, what's your value to the organization? Like, if all you know, and I use this example, right? If you work in a like a car repair business,
Hmm.
and all you know how to do is change oil in a car, you have value, and that's great.
Yes.
But if your coworker knows how to change oil, do the brakes, right, change the points and plugs, right, do so, like, they're so much more valuable than you
Yeah.
may be.
Hmm.
So uh think about it from that perspective, and just like start to write it down on a paper and say, where do you excel? Where's your value? What sort of
Yeah.
productivity do you bring to the table each and every day? And you know what? Don't be embarrassed. And this is where, like, I love doing one-on-one coaching. I don't do group coaching, right? Because
Yeah.
we need to have that humility and that maybe a little bit of embarrassment to go through it and
Hmm.
say, you know what? All I know how to do is change the oil in the car, Tony. And it's like, that's
Hmm.
okay. Let's work on this. How do we expand you to be something more, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and so again, you don't come out of the womb knowing these things. It takes time, but it really first starts up here with the realization that
Come
you
on.
have to take action, right?
Yes,
Because
sir.
if you never
Yes,
have
sir.
that aha moment to say, hey, all I know how to do is change the oil, and that's
Yeah.
okay, but I want to do more
Hmm.
than that.
Hmm. Absolutely. Listen, this age is going to sound familiar to you, but I'm about to be 44 next month, right? And so, in this age of my life and season of my life, one of the things I'm being more diligent about is being curious. Like, I am being very, very curious at this stage of my life. And when I say that curious, because as you talk, some people are scared to confront the truth about where they are, the truth about their habits, the truth about their work and their work habits, their work ethics. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm learning as I get curious is that confrontation is not a bad word. Confrontation is just confronting what's in front of you, whether it's an issue, whether it's a problem, whether it's a deficit, whether it's a weakness. And I'm being curious more and more in my life at this stage to confront whatever's in front of me. Don't bury my head in the sand. Don't turn away from it. Let's look it right in the eye and say, okay, what are we going to do about it? And so as I listen to you talk about finding your superpower, myself, I'm learning that confrontation is not bad. Be curious about what's right in front of you and how are you going to attack it? How are you going to go about it? And I'll be honest with you, I haven't always been that way, but
I
that's where I'm at in the season.
Yeah, but you're not you're normal, Quentin,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Don't
right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
beat
Uh-huh.
yourself up. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, everybody goes through this, and that's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing about,
Yeah.
what we do on these podcasts, we try to highlight, hey folks, you're out there. If you're struggling with something, you know what? I struggle too. I got started
Yeah.
in the business 20 years ago, and people would say, "Oh, gee, Tony, you had it so easy 20 years ago." Well, let me tell you, 20 years ago was is nothing like today. I had struggles
Wow.
back then. I was buying properties that were completely vacant. You think it's easy going to the bank with no job, buying a
Mm,
vacant building? You think they want to give
mm,
me money? No, they don't.
no.
Right? So,
Right.
private
Yeah.
lending, syndications, things like that just weren't really a thing back then 20 years
Yeah.
ago. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard for me. So, sometimes folks are like, "Oh, gee, Tony, it's hard today." It's as real estate investors, we're never happy. It's always hard. When rates are high or rates are low, there's other pressure points. But something I want to touch on relative to what you were saying, have that curiosity and always question ourselves. We're getting to the end of the year. Okay. And
Mm,
hopefully this is timely and also value add for the audience. We know at the end of the year, we start thinking about our 2026 goals. What do we
yeah.
want to achieve in 2026? And that's great. One of the things I ask folks to do or challenge folks to do is go back and look at your 2025 goals and say, did I achieve this? Did I just kind of kick it forward? Did I not give it the attention that it needed? Right? Look at those 2025 goals. And I've done this myself personally. So, right, I don't look for people to do anything that I haven't done myself and say,
Mhm.
did I not achieve this goal? Uh, because at the end of the day, my heart just wasn't in it. It's just not me. Man, it looks great on paper.
Good on paper.
Man,
Hmm.
that looks great, Quentin, right? I want to achieve that. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't really me. It just
Yeah.
wasn't in my
Mm,
being.
right.
Or I just didn't, have the skills to do one of those
Yeah.
goals. And so I had to go hire some people to go do some of those things because I just
Yeah.
wasn't the expert. I thought I was. I thought I knew what I
Yeah.
needed to do. But man, technology today is so ever changing. Like week by week, and I just wasn't equipped for that amount of change. So you really have
Yeah.
to go back and again have that humility to say, where did I fall short? And it's okay. You're having those conversations with yourself. It's not like you got to be embarrassed in front of anybody,
Yeah.
right? If you need
Yeah.
to have a coach or you need to have a mentor to go have those conversations, go have those conversations with them. They're not gonna,
Yeah.
poke you in the eye or anything. If they're, a real friend or a real good person, they're gonna help you through that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So as we go into 2026, you use that strategy. Look at your 2025 goals and really, critique yourself on where you fell short.
Absolutely. I love it. And I'm not measuring my success against Tony's success. Like this is not that's when I say about like when we talk about being curious, it's not I'm curious because yeah, Tony did this, well, I'm not doing this. No, it's just curious about being just honest about where I'm at. And it's not to say you're not being successful. Again, it's just being curious and being honest. Like you said, look at the 2025 goals and let's be curious, let's be honest, and let's confront what why we haven't reached the goals, whatever that may be. And you guess what? It may just be okay. You may have just found success in somewhere else and did not reach that goal. It's yeah. So hopefully that makes sense to the people that we're talking to.
That's
And so
beautiful.
speaking of goals, do you have any next real goals for yourself? I mean, you brought up goals. Are there anything that you're trying to reach?
So again, from the perspective of maybe sharing something that adds value to the listeners,
Yeah,
one of our goals, one of the things in real estate specifically that we go after today, that maybe some folks, I'm going to share it in a little bit of a different light that I don't think anybody or I haven't found anybody that's talking about it in this way. I talk about the three distresses in real estate, right? So we all know about the first distress, right? When we talk about a distressed property, maybe it has a leaky roof or it's ugly, old windows, bad landscaping. I don't know. It's just distress. It just looks ugly. We know distress when we see it, right?
yeah,
So we're
yeah,
familiar with that first one. We're even familiar with the second one. Last couple of years has been a lot of chatter about distressed operators. folks who bought into the business. Maybe they didn't know who they were, what their superpower was. Maybe they don't have any GPs or staff that kind of complement them where they fall short. So there's distressed operators out there, and that's really come to light in the last couple of years. And so the third type of distress I want to bring forward, and that not a lot of folks are talking about in this way, is the distressed renter, right?
Mhm, mhm,
There's a lot of pressure on renters these days. There's been, a lot of inflation, over the last few years. We know about that. We don't have to kick that dead horse. Their pays haven't been going up in equal fashion, unfortunately. And there's just such an imbalance there. I was looking at uh, just 5 years ago to the average loan on a vehicle just 5 years ago was $30,000. Okay,
mhm.
$30,000, which even now today I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. Uh, Here we are, 5 years later. The average loan is now $40,000 in 5 years. The loan for just a car has gone up by $10,000, right? That's a lot of money. That's, really wears on their disposable income. There's just a lot of things hitting them right now. So, reason why I bring up that third distress is because for 2026, our goals, one of the things we're looking at is really, exploiting those three distresses in real estate, distressed property, distressed operator, and also the distressed renter, where maybe you go and you're looking at properties and, it has a 30% vacancy because that it's a distressed economy in that area. And that operator just doesn't know how to pivot to be able to fill those vacancies, right? And be able to get it to something more realistic. So those are the three things we're looking for in 2026 to really try to find, really a property we can turn around and just knock it out of the park for our investors.
I love it. Absolutely. Well, listen, this has been time so well spent. Listen, if someone wanted to reach out to you, collaborate with you, learn more about what you're doing, connect with you, Mr. Tony, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, sir?
Thank you, Quentin. The best way is to reach me by email. I check and read and respond to all my emails. You can reach me at Tony Lopes at dirtybootscapital.com. Tony Lopes, Lopes with an S, at dirtybootscapital.com.
Yes, listen, Mr. Tony, you have given us such great value on this show. It's been fun. We laughed. You've given us insight on mindset shift. And so, listen, I thank you, sir. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your story. I thank you for your perspective. It was really, truly a pleasure doing this episode with you today, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Quentin. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.